And it's Dave with Bluffing with Aces. Tonight, actually, we are off to Rivers Casino in Des Plaines, Illinois, up by O'Hare. First time we ever been there. See what the action, I heard the action's pretty good. See what it's like in the poker room. We'll keep you updated. Okay, this is Rivers Casino in Des Plaines, up by O'Hare in Chicago. So I wanted to show you the casino. They don't allow video recording in here. But if you look in the middle of the screen, that half-screen TV you see back there, that's a little nook back there, and that's the poker table we're sitting at when this action goes down. In this action, forget the flop and the turn cards are out here. We'll start with the villain who has ace-queen. So he raises to 15. There's a caller, a caller, a caller, and then I wake up with pocket kings. So I squeeze it to 75, and the villain's the only caller. The rest of them fold out. Flop comes 8-9 queen. So the villain's an aggressive, I'd call him a loose aggressive player. He's just trying to push people out of the pot, get them to fold early. So I watched a few hands. I hadn't been in a hand with this villain yet, but watched some play up to this point. So in any case, flop is 8-9 queen, so 10 jack gets there right away. His holdings, since he raised pre-flop and he called my $75 bet re-raise, I don't really put him on 10 jack. Maybe he could have 10 jack suited, but his opening range is much wider. So in any case, we go to the flop, and the flop comes out a queen, so he bets, I raise, and I min raise, and he calls. So I expect him to bet, barrel all the way through. So the 6 comes, again, he bets, steps it up a little bit, I raise, and he calls. For some reason, at the end of this action, I decided to flip over my hand. I thought it was the river. It wasn't the river. It was only the turn. Then people are like, what are you doing? There's another card to come. Felt like such a dork. But in any case, it really happened. So now he knows I have kings. I still don't know what he has. I'm praying for a clean river. So I do not want to see the board pair. I do not want to see an ace on the river. So other than that, I think I'm pretty good. So we got to take the river. I already exposed my hand. Already invested in this pot. I probably got $100 behind, maybe a little over that, but started the hand with 300 plus. So we're in there. We're committed, and here comes the river. Of course, it's an ace. So he jams. Thinks about it, and then jams. I would anticipate this player to jam any scare card. If the board paired, I'd anticipate him to jam. If a 10 or a jack come off, I anticipated him to jam. If, an overcard came over like the ace, I anticipated him to jam. So really my fault for showing my hand, but we're here. It's the river, the real river, not the pretend one I had, but it's the river. So he jams, I'm a little over $100 behind. Already got 200 plus invested in the pot, so I go ahead and make the call based on partly his action, but I anticipated him to jam on any scare card. So we're making the call. We made the call, and we see that he had ace queen, and we lost, of course. So we got our kings beat by me showing my hand mostly. Probably would have got this action anyhow, though. Probably would have ended up in the same scenario, even if I didn't show my hand. If he had ace queen, he was calling down. He was calling my raises down. He had the top pair, top kicker. So probably would have ended up here anyhow. I would have felt much better about it if I didn't show my hand on the turn. So the next hand I want to talk about, so again, up against an aggressive player, a lot of action at rivers, a lot of aggression, a lot of betting appearing to be strong, but pre-flop action is pretty normal. 9 queen raised, folds around, I call. And the flop comes 8 queen king. So a little bit worried about king, queen here, but really I'm anticipating this player to bet on this flop no matter what he has. And so, I got top pair, I got a decent kicker, I don't have the best kicker, could be worried about queen, king, worried about ace, king, those types of holdings. But so for that reason, I check it over to him, see the bet, size it up, and decide what to do. So he bets, it's not astronomical, I call. So then we go to the turn. Turn is pretty much a dud, right? So it doesn't really change the board at all. So again, I check it for the same reasons. King, the queen. I don't have the best kicker, so he could be king, queen. He could be king, jack. Those types of hands. So could get in trouble, but because he's a loose player, I called a little wider on the raise. In any case, he bets again, and I call. And the last hand is the jack. So the jack's a scare card. So again, I check. So now you have 8, you got 9, 10 that gets there, right? You have 10 ace that gets there. So those holdings are making the straight, which I could see this player betting his draw, right? Betting his straight draw. Didn't really ever have a draw on the flop, so I didn't put him on any, not a flush draw any on the flop. So I didn't put him on a flush draw. But 9-10 gets there, 10 ace gets there. So he bets, sizes it up pretty good this time. He goes to, I check it to him, and he bets $225. So for $225, all I got is one pair. He could easily have two pair. He could have king jack. He could have king queen. He could have ace king. He could have the 9-10. He could have the 10 ace. So a lot of hands that he could have, but again, he's a looser aggressive player. I wouldn't say loose, but looser aggressive player. So based on that, I decided to go ahead, and also on the fact that I was holding the 10. Right, so I'm holding the 10, so it's less likely he's going to have 9-10. It's less likely he's going to have 10 ace. So I got top pair, I got an okay kicker, and I anticipate him to bet on a scare card and bet pretty strong. So for that reason, I did call. I called him, and he says I got a queen. I says I got a king, so that's good. Then everyone's like, "Ooh, tough call, good call, tough call," So I'm like, looked at him, and he says, I had the 9, so I figured I was good on the 9-10. So that's part of the reason I bet so big. I'm like, it's funny because I had the 10, so I figured I was good on the 10 ace and the 9-10. So that's the reason I called you. So then he kind of jokes. He goes, it's funny that the guy who pre-exposed his hand on the turn with his kings calls me because he's holding the 10. So I was kind of making a jab, but it was fun. We had a good time, and ended up being a profitable night. So by the time it was all done and said, I was in for $600, and this is cashing out. So it's 100, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 900 there, 60 there. So out for $960. All in all, it was a fun time, good time, a lot of action. If you ever get the chance to go, I'd recommend to go check out Rivers.